Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never, ever alone. And I am very excited because today we have our co-host back for another episode. Let's see, where'd she go? There she is. Michal LeBaron. All right. Welcome back, Michal.
Thank you.
Yeah, here we go. I know we've had a couple series lately that we've been talking about multiple things, kind of how multiple things apply to a topic. And we are today, I believe we are still on the 5 core principles of living in the parasympathetic. That is where we still are. And so to kick this off, why don't you recap the first 2 that we did quickly, and then what are we going to do today?
Yep, I love that. And for those who haven't caught any of this, I want to just briefly mention why are we talking about this and what is the parasympathetic?
Yes.
So what I, as a functional medicine practitioner and nutritionist and a lot of other things, I really came to the end of my rope in the holistic and alternative world, because even though I wasn't bedridden anymore and I was managing my chronic illnesses pretty well, the point was I still had to manage them. And I had a very restricted diet. I was taking hundreds of dollars of supplements a month. I had to constantly go back to the chiropractor, massage therapist. I had to do all these things, and avoid all these triggers. And that really caused me to think and realize that something was missing. I wasn't actually healthy just because I was managing symptoms. I was still sick because I was so restricted and I flared up all the time and I had to do all this stuff in order to just function. And so that caused me to seek, what am I missing? And all roads, all paths led to the nervous system when I was looking at the root of the root of the root cause. And so when I really was recognizing that as a society, I mean, most people on the planet live in a state of survival. We're constantly in fight or flight. We're in stress mode. We're go, go, go. We're in autopilot. And so I knew the power of regulating. I had learned a lot of tools and modalities to regulate that, but they were always short-lived. And so the most eye-opening thing someone told me was, well, don't you have to learn to live in the parasympathetic, which is the resting, digesting, growth, and repair system. And so when they said live there, I realized, oh, well, duh. And also, I don't think I know how to do that. So that's makes so much sense, but I never thought of that before. So that's what I focused on. And within 3 months, my lab tests were normal, no sign of my autoimmune disease, no sign of my genetic condition that's shown up in my blood work since I was a baby, no sign of my allergies, some of which caused anaphylactic reactions, and I was autoimmune reactive to them. That was all I was told lifelong, and that's no more. And so why we're talking about how to live in the parasympathetic now makes sense in context, is we're talking about how to live in a regulated state in the side of your nervous system where your body can heal itself 24/7. So we've gone through 2, and this is the third. The first one is all about being present and being grounded and knowing how to regulate in 60 seconds or less, and weaving that throughout your day so you can learn the difference in your own experience. What do I feel like when that fight or flight system turns on? And what do I feel like in a regulated state? And you can start regulating throughout your day and all the time until that regulated state is your default mode. So that's really powerful because you don't have to do a bunch of stuff. Something you can just learn to do, like a muscle that you learn to flex. It's like your nervous system. You can actually regulate it all on your own, which is really cool.
Love it.
Second one we talked about was how to give yourself a shadow work mirror. And that just means, if we have patterns and habits that we've had our whole lives based on survival, and it's unconscious to us, it's not something that's obvious to us, how do we even begin to become aware of those things? And I like to say the mirror, if I have something in my blind spot, what do I use? A mirror. so I can actually see what's in my blind spot. And so we give you practices where you can become aware of the patterns and habits that are from survival. They're causing you to be unhealthy and causing your body to not heal itself and not repair and be in a compromised, stressed state, and how to begin shifting that. And so today it goes perfect in today's topic because we're going to talk about how to parent ourselves and really re-parent ourselves, because however we've been doing it isn't effective if we have illness and our nervous systems are all out of whack.
Right. Yeah. Yes. But the good news is now you'll know. And so well, good news or bad news, depending on how you look at it. Now you know. So now you know what to do. So yeah, parenting yourself. What if somebody's watching out there and go, I don't know how to parent myself. My parents were absent, or I grew up in a single parent family, or both my parents were, not great examples. How do you deal with something like that?
I would say, well, exactly, and keep listening. Exactly, this is for you. A lot of us did not have healthy role models, and even those of us who did, on some level, have a healthy role model, our parents really didn't know a lot of this stuff anyway. So even those of us who had a healthy role model, it's still not like we learned how to be regulated, or we all can learn to grow and improve. And certainly if you have a chronic illness, we know your nervous system is dysregulated. Yep. So we know that this is a core piece for everyone that we have to learn.
Well, and what I've heard from another mentor that we've been meeting with for years now, and she would say, it's a fact, you are damaged in some way, emotionally, somewhere you had something happen in your past. Everybody has. You have, and your parents had, and your grandparents and your great grandparents, and all the way back, and that's what carried through. And so now this is breaking that cycle.
Yes.
of being able to live in that regulated state and not carry that on to your children and your family. So,
yes, I love that example. And I think it's perfect because I would say those wounded parts of us, I would call that our child or our inner child or whatever that needs parenting. Yeah. And so we all have had, times we did not feel heard, accepted, appreciated, seen, that, and these all create wounding. And we've also had, traumas and changes and, losses and transitions where it's like, oh my gosh, like I was really good. I was top of my grade in first grade, but then I joined the soccer team and now I'm last and it's my first time being bad at something. And now, whatever. Yeah. It can be the smallest things that we kind of hold in, suppress, and those are the parts that need healed, and those are the parts that need parented.
Totally. All right, let's dive in.
Okay, speaking of that, we all have this part of ourselves that wants to do whatever we want, whenever we want. And I love the phrase, you are free to choose, but you're not free from the consequences of your choice. Yes, you're free to choose, but those choices have consequences. So
darn it.
Hopefully, yes, you can make choices based on the consequences you want to have, right? And we all, hopefully, we know that as adults. But what we probably don't realize is that in the big areas of our life that we know are really important, we live that way, right? Because we know that there's big consequences for those.
Yeah.
But what about the stuff that doesn't have big consequences? That's where even as adults, we tend to let ourselves off the hook, and we tend to take the shortcut, and we tend to do the quick and easy thing. And we tend to deceive ourselves or tell ourselves, this doesn't really matter. And what's interesting about those self-defeating behaviors is that's where every choice we make from that place actually builds stress in the nervous system. So I like to tell my clients, like, look, you can lie to yourself, but you can't lie to your nervous system. You can't lie to your body. It knows. It's tracking everything. And just like lie detectors actually are built to monitor our nervous system, the galvanic response, right? And it knows when we're lying. Well, all of our body, all of our nervous system knows when we're lying. Our blood pressure changes, our heart rate changes, our breathing changes. skin reactions and stuff changes, and our muscles actually go weaker. It's interesting when I'm in person and I can test somebody's arm and I tell them to tell the truth and I push down and they can hold, no matter how hard I'm pushing, man, they can hold me up.
Yeah.
And then, I ask them to tell a lie, and no matter how hard they try, whoop, it goes straight down. So
unbelievable. I know, it's so crazy.
We can't, if you stand in an upright position, just get comfortable, feet hip length apart, and tell a true statement. For most people, they notice their body actually moves forward or towards it, which biologically this is safe and true and good. Mm-hmm. And if you come back to neutral and you tell a lie, most people notice their body actually is like repulsed and moves away from the lie. So there's all these unconscious indicators. People study facial movements and all that stuff, and it's just so fascinating. We are not built to lie. So our nervous system's regulating, monitoring everything all the time. And it's either saying, yep, everything's good, there's no imbalance here, in which case there's no symptoms, or yes, there's an imbalance here. So it's not just physically in your body, but it's also in your cognitive mental space as well. So if you're doing something that is not in integrity with yourself, your body is going to register that as a stressful imbalance, just like a bacteria, virus, or any heavy metal, and going to have a reaction and a response. So this is a really important key, because when we talk about stress, everyone says, oh yeah, my job's my stress, my kids are my stress, my marriage is my stress. All these outside things are my stress. And actually it's not. We like to use the analogy of a snow globe. And we tell people that the things in our life can shake our snow globe, but our stress is the snow inside the snow globe. So if I'm feeling confident and secure and peaceful and regulated, how I'm going to experience and perceive my snow globe shaking or something in my life is going to be very different than if my nervous system is already hijacked and I'm already in survival mode and my brain isn't even in a whole brain state. It's like in the reflex centers, which is where we get dumber. We make quick reflex decisions that look like a good idea, but you can't see the whole picture. And so, literally we are compromised in that state, and how we experience life from a state of I am not okay and I am in imminent danger. You can't perceive things clearly. It's like someone with PTSD, right? You could say the most neutral, kind, normal thing, but if that triggers their PTSD, they experience an entirely different reality. So
totally.
So this part of ourselves that wants to do whatever we want whenever we want is really where we build the most stress. And it's not in the obvious areas that we know matter. It's in the areas we think don't matter. Now, those choices add up way faster than the handful of big choices. These ones are hundreds of times a day I'm making decisions. Also, interesting pattern that I've noticed in working with so many people. The other place they make these choices that self-defeat, that they think don't matter, are when it only relates to them, when it only impacts them. You see, if it's for someone else, if it's for my kid, if it's for my spouse, if it's for my coworker, if it's for my boss, if it's for a stranger watching a video, I'm going to show up and be in integrity and do my best. And you know what I mean? Like contribute whatever I can. And when it's just me and it only impacts me, that's where I think it doesn't matter. So sure, I'll skip flossing my teeth today. I won't wash out my water bottle. If nobody's at the stop sign, I'll kind of slowly roll right on through. But it does impact us. And I think that's the actual point we have to come to realize is what messages are we unconsciously sending ourselves when we treat ourselves the way we would treat no one else. So it's like, does it really matter if I wash my water bottle out? It's just me and it's just water. It's not going to get bacteria very quickly or whatever, right? I have cooties, but they're my cooties.
That's right.
I really slowed down and looked at how would I feel if somebody was watching me, knowing I was drinking out of a water bottle that hadn't been washed for a few weeks. All of a sudden, I feel very different than I don't get why this matters. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of mortified and super embarrassed. Right. And then it's like, would I do that to a guest in my home? No, this is your water bottle and we only wash it every few weeks because it's just you and it's just your cooties and it's just water. Again, mortified. Yeah. I would never. So all of a sudden I'm starting to gain perspective and I'm like, well, I wash my daughter's water bottle. I wash, my husband's water bottle. So how am I treating myself and what does that really show me about how I'm valuing myself and treating myself? And, through my journey, another quick context for this conversation, it will get practical before the end, I promise. It's like, okay, I'm the first person that God entrusted me with. I mean, I am an actual human being. I think we think we're not. We treat ourselves like we're not. But I'm an actual human being, right? And I'm the one that's entrusted in my care. And I'm the first human being that's entrusted in my care. And so how would I treat myself as if I really was someone else or if I knew I was a person? And so this is where we want to really develop our relationship with ourselves in a new way, and where we really want to start parenting ourselves, to heal those wounded parts of ourselves that we've suppressed and that have just become a part of our patterns, but also, to be the best version of ourselves from a place of maturity and responsibility, growth-minded, right? Self-awareness, emotional intelligence. I mean, I want this for my life and I want to pass this on to my kid, and I want to be an inspiration for other people and support them in their journeys too. I think we all deserve that level of unconditional love and acceptance as we go through our healing journeys, because we're all on one, right? So this is some context, and what we're going to share throughout the rest is what are the practices you can weave into your life every single week to actually build the muscle of reparenting, because it could be very overwhelming. I think for most people, when we start talking about this stuff, oh my God, stop signs, to stop at the stop signs. I have to wash my water bottle. When this really becomes conscious to me, there's a funny thing when the unconscious becomes conscious, you see it everywhere. All of a sudden you're like, whoa, it's kind of like, if you buy a new car, you see it everywhere. You're like, oh my gosh, I never saw so many red cars or so many Toyota whatevers, right?
Yeah.
It's not because they weren't there. It's because you couldn't see them. There's a mechanism in your brain, the reticular activating system, and it filters out everything that's not relevant to you. So you can just stay in your little autopilot. So Carl Jung, famous psychologist, said, until you bring the unconscious conscious, it will rule your lives. That's what's in our blind spot. Those are the softwares and the programs running in the background that we don't even know. And so he said, until you bring the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life, and you'll call it fate. You'll have no idea that there's this cause and effect. So we're going to talk about how to do that and how not to be overwhelmed when you start seeing it everywhere, but how to make it super feasible, simple, easy, and approachable. And it'll just kind of keep that self-discovery ball rolling. So
totally. And the one example that I keep thinking of that everybody's been on an airplane at some point, right? Everybody's been on the flight, and you could probably, if we asked, 100 people, probably at least half of them could recite that thing that they do at the beginning of the flight, like verbatim, insert the metal buckle into the, whatever for the seatbelt. And one of the things that they talk about is the oxygen mask. If oxygen masks drop, put yours on first. That's the biggest thing but that's the only place that they remember that. Yeah. Every other aspect of life, it's like, no, I got to take care of this person. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to take care of take care of this thing. And they leave themselves on the side of the road, sick and dying while they take care of everything else. And so, so that's I don't know. So nobody will ever be able to be on a plane and not think about that now. They'll be like,
Yes.
Come on, man.
We're programming your reticular activating system.
Reprogramming how I fly on a plane. Come on.
That's
Anyway, all right. Okay, so we're going to talk about some of that stuff on the other side of the break. Let's stick around. This is all good stuff. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
Hey there. You know, every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
Hi everyone, I'm Andy.
And I'm Minna.
We're the hosts of Chronically Healthy Life.
Join us Fridays at 7 p.m. Central Time on Vitality TV to see how we flip the idea of chronic on its head and create chronic health in our bodies, minds, finances, and relationships right here on E360 TV.
Okay, I hit the wrong button there. Welcome to live TV, everybody. I was pushing the buttons, and there you go. Here we are. Before we bring back Michal, I want to talk about Invisible Condition University because Invisible Condition. So I have had 6 surgeries in the last 11 years, 4 of them brain surgeries, and every time I had surgery, my wife and family were mostly left out in the cold after the surgery. After we get home from the hospital, they don't, by the way, the doctors don't follow you home in case you know. And so the help basically goes away unless you have family and friends around you. And that's why my wife, Catherine, and I created ICU. We wanted to provide a place where other people like us, maybe like you, or somebody you know, or somebody you love, would find a community, that listens, that cares, that actually walks with you through what you're going through, no matter what it is, no matter where you are in the process. We meet on Zoom twice a month, the first and third Tuesday of every month. And we meet for about an hour. If it goes longer, we go longer. If you have questions, and I'm not going to leave anybody out, we'll go as long as we need to, but we start with about an hour. And we want to provide a safe place for patients and the caregivers, whoever that is, if it's your nurse, your mom, your wife, your daughter, whoever's helping you through this condition, bring them too. We want to provide that space to be able to let you, ask questions, vent frustrations, find information that maybe you're not getting from your medical providers. If you'd like to learn more and receive a free month of membership in the community, go to myfreegiftfromjeff.com. or scan the QR code right there, and we will be more than happy to chat with you. And yeah, so all right, here we go. Let's bring Michal back on here and keep going, because this is good stuff. Reparenting ourselves, which
Yes, sir. Also, I don't think we knew that you hit the wrong button, so I just was joyfully delighted that you came on laughing.
I just think that's hilarious. We've been doing this almost 2 years. I've been hosting this show for almost 2 years, and I still nobody's perfect, man. Even now, I'm like, oh man, why did I hit that button instead of that one?
I love it. Welcome to live TV, everybody. That's what you say.
Yeah, welcome to live TV, everybody. You never know what's going to happen. Who knows?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay, reparenting. So I think it's helpful to look at the same subject from different views, from different angles, from, up here, down here, then you really get to understand more deeply and more intimately the concepts that we're talking about. And so you could consider that a dysregulated survival, fight or flight state is coming from that wounded inner child. And you could consider that a regulated state, being in the parasympathetic, being, peace and grounded and all of that, is being the adult, the parent, the healthy parent. So I want to describe these two, and just this can be a reflective tool. You need to look at how often am I dysregulated versus regulated. This will be some powerful self-introspection. And this came from, there's a great course on Daily Om, very reasonable, all on parenting yourself. So I highly recommend that. And that's where I'm pulling some of this from, this articulation.
Cool.
So our adult is the part of us that is strong in our thoughts, mature in our decision-making, responsible with our actions, grounded and rooted, willing to take a risk, brave and courageous, stares down fear, is nurturing and kind, and empowered by who they are. When we are within our adult self, our healthy self, our regulated self, we take care of responsibilities, we have good manners, we listen to others, we are kind but respectful of ourselves. Oxygen mask on us first. We draw boundaries, we show up on time, we offer to help others, we don't tolerate rudeness or drama, we are not petty, we are not judgmental. So every part of our life, this is what we approach it from. And so here's some of the things that our adult, our regulated self would never do. Never be the one to have a temper tantrum because something didn't go our way. Sorry, ouch. Going to gossip or talk behind another's back to be hurtful. Will not engage in drama of any sort. Would never go to experience fight or flight. Would never go to spend all of their money. Would never go to overeat. Would never go to shame you or put you down. Would never judge you or anyone else. Would never be the one who does not know what to do. When we're stuck and frozen, we're dysregulated, and that's the scared inner child.
Yeah.
Would never be the one who would feel left out if everyone but you goes to lunch. That's a strong sense of self right there. And being there for ourselves. And having inner worth and inner value, not needing that external worth and value, that external locus of control. They have an internal locus of control. They are not envious, jealous, or feeling separated or left out. They are not scared. They are not going to be the ones to not have faith. They will not stop in fear because they're afraid of success, right? And sabotage. So there's more, but these give you some things to point to. So I want to talk about the inner child, and then let's bring it practical, and Jeff and I will share our experience in parenting ourselves. So your inner child is this beautiful, innocent, intuitive, fun-filled little being that just wants to create and play and use their imagination. They are the part of us that reminds us to have fun, not take things too seriously, lighten up a little, and splash in mud puddles. Their job is to play. But somewhere along the way, they felt unheard, left out, scared, abandoned, isolated, and lonely. And it's kind of like we think we have to grow up too fast when this happens. So they are the part of us that's unhealed from emotional wounds and traumas. That's the shadow aspect of us. We talked about last video. That's what a shadow is. And these lead to temper tantrums, feeling inadequate, being insecure. All of our negative, unhealthy patterns come from this dysregulated place. It's a place of survival. And these are ways that we, without having a fully developed frontal lobe, needed to survive. So they're not even bad. They're not shameful. They're not wrong. They're not evil. They're not stupid. They're just the parts where we had to survive.
Yep.
So understanding this part of ourselves, we can't just try to be perfect and judge the child. That will create more shadow, and make it harder on the wounded part of us that already feels rejected.
Right.
Not enough, right? So we have to learn to parent from that loving, supportive, and nurturing place. So understanding this part of ourselves is the key to understanding our difficulties in relationships, at personal, at work, our addictions, our anger, our jealousy, our fears, our ego traps, our sabotaging and self-defeating behaviors, etc. This is why we reparent, because every time we reparent, we're moving from a dysregulated pattern and establishing a regulated pattern.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything you want to share on that before we?
No, I'm good. No, this is all good, man. This is good stuff. I hope you guys are taking notes.
Yeah.
Come on.
And
This
it's
is
a
great.
journey. Reminder,
Oh,
it's
man.
a journey, not a destination. Please be so patient. You've lived your whole life from dysregulated, dysfunctional patterns. It's
Yeah.
going to take some time and patience and a lot of love and compassion to begin to shift that. And I read a quote, wish I knew who said it, but I read a quote this past week that we cannot heal if we are pressuring ourselves to heal. Because the pressure of I've got to get this and I have to hurry and I'm not where I should be, that's more dysregulation, and that pressure is going to dysregulate you further. So it's more like deep acceptance of where you are, and then deep love and commitment that you're going to just move forward one little step at a time and celebrate all of your growth and changes, even if they're this small along the way, because that's where we regulate, is when we're safe and we're already accepted and loved and safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we reparent? I have a practice. It's kind of like a piece of exercise equipment.
Okay.
Might seem a little stupid.
Yeah.
but it's very highly effective, okay? So we
Okay.
got to start simple and small instead of take on the big things, or we'll get overwhelmed and we won't do it. Okay.
Right.
That being said, we're going to pick one area of life. For me, I started with my eating. My food, just my relationship to food and how I cook and prepare and eat my food. I think you've done the same, Jeff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Other areas that you guys could pick, and I want you to just pick one, please. Don't go everywhere, because there's thousands of these. There's millions. There's infinite of these.
Right.
So if you just look everywhere, it's too overwhelming. So we pick one itty bitty area. It could be laundry. It could be a room in the house, like office, bedroom, kitchen. It could be like your body care, literally just care on your actual body, right? So I'm like your hair, your teeth,
or maybe like sleep.
Yeah, could
be an area, right?
Yes.
Like do you get enough sleep? Do you go to bed at a good time? Do you that kind of thing.
And do you wash your sheets? That could be part of the self-defeating. Is
there you go.
You like your pillow, and do you stay up watching TV right before bed, and do you what are the things you do? Do you hit snooze a million times? So yes, also morning routine, evening routine. It could also be driving. There's so many shortcuts driving, like stopping at stop signs, or, the things that we do, cleaning the car, all of this, going the speed limit. So pick one tiny area, and then for a good solid few months, you're going to look at just 5 shortcuts a week that you take that you think don't matter. And those are the areas that you're going to work on parenting yourself in.
And this might be where you need somebody else to help you guide through this, because you are not going to, speaking from personal experience here, you are not going to realize what those 5 things are without some prompting. Sometimes it's not you, because part of you doesn't want to see those. And so so sometimes you've got to have an outside person that doesn't live in your head guide you through that and exercise, so that you can get those 5 things to work on that week, that month, whatever, that will actually help you.
True. So. And you guys, if this posted where you can comment, and I'll look and help and give feedback and tips and things. Whatever I can do to help you, we love doing that.
And even better, yes, comment in Facebook, comment in YouTube. Those are the 2 places that most commonly people comment. But even better, if you have a question and you're like, oh, that's me, or oh, that's somebody I'd love, scan the QR code, man. get on the calendar, and you would be happy to meet with anybody, right? To talk about this, and you've got a consult that you can do up front to kind of get through some of this. So, so do that too. So
we'll spend 90 minutes with you too. I mean, most people's like 15-minute consults. I don't like that. I need time. I need time.
Oh, yeah.
And we need to get comfortable and dig in deep, right? So absolutely, come
90 minutes. That's unheard of. 90 minutes. That's great. Yeah. Everybody's like 30 minutes. You can't get anything done in 30 minutes.
No, it's so hard. So good. So pick one area, and then you're looking for shortcuts. So I want to spend a few minutes just giving you guys ideas of some of the shortcuts that we found. Oh, the budget. Good area for shortcuts, but you might need help on that, and also food. But that has a lot of,
there's a lot there
for people. So you might not do if an area is super triggering. Don't pick that. Pick a approachable area that feels a little more neutral for you to get started on these. So Jeff, I don't know if you want to talk about some of your shortcuts that you've discovered. I'm going to talk about mine in lots of areas, but what are some that you've found that maybe either surprised you or were just really good practices to help you parent yourself? So
I think the first one that pops into my head is where to put things. We're in a rental, and we don't always have control over where things are stored, because you don't always have all your own space when you're renting, especially if you're renting from somebody that still lives in the house. And so that is a shortcut I had taken. And I know one of the examples that we had talked about, which I think we mentioned on another show, but the brown sugar. Like, I love to bake. I love to cook. I love cooking and baking, and even had a side gig with a cookie business for a while. And so I've got these ingredients sitting around all the time because we use them a lot. And there was just one time we were talking, and it was about the brown sugar. It's like, where in the world do I put this freaking brown sugar? Because I couldn't find a good place for it. And so, but that was driving me crazy. It was a shortcut. It was like, well, I'll just throw it on the bar and just leave it there. But every time I walked by and looked at it, I was like, it's still sitting there. Where do I put it? So it seems really small and dumb and insignificant. Where do you put the brown sugar? But that was one.
That's such a good one. And I remember too, it was like the fight of it. Like, does it really matter? It's brown sugar.
Who cares?
I know. And then you got how much it bugged you, and just the message. And it's like, now it has a place to live. And then it started rippling into other places. Like, oh, while I'm here, I'm going to make this be as supportive as possible. And so my brown sugar is my water jar, my water bottle. That's my brown sugar. Why does this even matter? Right. And then you realize the message you're sending is like, I don't care, be overwhelmed. It's like, well, whatever, you probably won't be here always anyway. So what does it matter how comfortable you are? It's like when we realize the messages we're sending to ourselves, they're just heart gripping. And if you think of us being a wounded little child, man, it's like, no. Of course I care about you, and I want you to feel comfortable and secure. And I know that I love you, and I'm supporting you, and I'm here, and I hear you, and I'm listening to you, and I'm taking care of you. So did you have another example?
No, I think, probably. I mean, we could keep going with
examples. Okay, I can give you some too. Okay. Okay, well, I said the one about stopping at stop signs. And I think what we'll go into after the break is, more examples, but I also want to really help you guys get into hearing the hidden message behind these things. Because once you hear the hidden message, you can't keep treating yourself like this. It's just, it's so gross that you're just like, ugh.
I think I did think of one more, and it's sleep. Like being awake late at night and not going to sleep when everybody else does. And, so that maybe that's the other one that's the one that I'm still like, what do we do with that? So on the other side of the break, we'll have more to talk about. Don't worry. All right, everybody. Stick around. There's more good stuff coming. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Hi, I'm Jake, co-founder and CEO of One Hope. My friends and I started this company in 2007 out of the back of this truck on a mission to enrich people's lives through wine. Today, we've grown into a state-of-the-art Napa Valley winery that proudly houses a portfolio of award-winning wines which have touched lives through over 40,000 nonprofits at home and around the globe. And it's happening every day. Being rooted in local communities and contributing to initiatives that uplift neighborhoods, celebrate cultures, and promote community. It's what got us here. You see, through every bottle sold, your purchase can make a direct impact on the causes you care about. One Hope's cause of choice has given back over $10 million and counting.
Tired of losing cell service in dead zones? Concerned about connectivity in emergencies? There is now an answer. Introducing the Love Pod. The world's first affordable encrypted global internet Wi-Fi hotspot connects with multiple service carrier networks and is satellite assisted when no service carrier networks are available. So it works virtually anytime, anywhere. Connect up to 9 devices, like our cell phone, laptop, desktop, TV, security cam, and more. Stream, chat, text, download, and make phone calls, all with no roaming fees. With mesh capability, the Love Pods will grow in strength and speed with each new pod activated to create a private terrestrial-based intranet called Love Global Network. The Love Pods are dual blockchain encrypted with Love's proprietary 2048-bit cube chain encryption, giving you the ultimate protection in data privacy and security against digital attacks and hacks to your devices. You are no longer tracked, and your data is never sold. Get the Love Pod, your private, encrypted, portable global internet Wi-Fi hotspot, and stay safe and stay connected.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
All right. And we're back.
We're back.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Examples. Well, first, okay. So before we went to break, you were
Yeah.
telling me about staying up late, and I can't. This actually has a name, although I forget what it is. Where because we've put ourselves last so much, we're so burnt out that staying up late, it's almost like a rebellion, but it's like that's our only time to ourselves. And
Right.
so, to that, there's the famous quote, build a life you don't need a vacation from. And then you finally get that positive spiral moving because
Yep.
you're well rested. So you want to be in your life, but you are taking time for yourself. So your cup is full. And then, it's just a really beautiful thing. So
And I totally agree with that, because I think you feel like there's no other time during the day that you can do that. But then it's like then in your head you're going, well, why do you feel like you need to have time to yourself so much? Why are you, what's going on? And then yeah, that's it. And then over the years, it's been like, well, yeah, when all the kids were home, then I felt like, okay, cool, I'm good. Everybody's home now. I can relax,
yeah.
But I think that's just an excuse, man. It's still a thing, staying up late has still got that purpose in the back of my mind that's the only time,
Yes.
which I realize is not good. Just hard to break it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so what I love about that is without shame. Shame's
Yeah.
the killer of all. And shame is not taking responsibility, by the way. It's wallowing in victim, although
Right.
then we can't even see it. So then we're stuck in it. It's a whole thing. But
Exactly.
that's also that inner child. The wounded inner child is in shame, which is dysregulation.
Right.
Not responsibility, which is regulation and adulting, parenting, maturing. So the beautiful thing is as we become aware of these, we don't have to take on the big ones like bedtime. Maybe we take on the little ones in an area that feels more approachable. But regardless, these are all just places we can parent ourselves. And the more we parent ourselves and move into regulation, the better we feel about ourselves. That's actually where we build confidence and self-esteem. Wherever we parent ourselves, that's where we feel solid and stable and secure. Secure attachment styles are inside of people that parent themselves. The wounded inner child is where insecure attachment styles and patterns come from as well. So examples is we're picking these tiny little areas and we're finding shortcuts within that. So it's like, I worked with a client today. Her area is her personal spaces. So it's kind of like tidying her spaces so that it's not getting cluttered. So we looked at her office desk. We looked at her car. We looked at her bedroom, her little makeup vanity. And today we got to look at her purse. So we did 5 little shortcuts just in kind of what goes in the purse, right? And it's like, well, I throw my loose change in there. Okay, how can I parent myself and put the change in the change thing, in the change bag, zipper place, right? Pocket. Yeah. And then it was, all the pamphlets and flyers and papers and notes, and they just live in the purse, even though I don't need them. And then I even look and see, I don't need all this stuff, but then I don't do anything with it. Right. And then, snacks that I'll never eat. So women, come on. We know if we carry food, it can live in there a really long time. That's no good. Anyway, so it was also like, I don't put anything in my purse that isn't like, that is my sacred container to support myself every day. So it's not going to be a junk accumulator. And I asked her, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, do you feel like you are a junk accumulator as a person? And like, is that who you are in the office you work in? And sure enough, everyone dumps all the stuff on her and she just keeps taking it on and taking it on. So you see how it's not about the purse. It's about, what does this show me as a person and my patterns? And how can if I can do that muscle in my physical purse, it also gives me access to do that with my coworkers and in the confines of my job title and what's good for me, and not enabling dysfunctional office dynamics. So that could be an example. If you're driving, right? Yeah. Stopping at stop signs. It's how would you drive if you were taking your driver's test? If you're doing anything you wouldn't do with the driver instructor, that's a shortcut. So that's a good place to look. There's lots of these, right? I never did this one officially, but it just kind of with my awarenesses then, I'm taking my shower, whatever. I'm realizing, wait a minute. If I think, I don't have to wash my hair today, or, I don't need to shave my legs, or, I can just do like the quick rinse off thing. Oh my God, this feels like a shortcut. And sure enough, that's one area that every day I can now look and see, am I showing up my best, and am I showing myself I value myself? Because it might just a quick hop in, hop out, or am I actually giving myself time, right? And I love water. I love hot water, and it's very refreshing. And also, I don't have a prayer closet. I have a prayer shower. So it's like, because people will bug me. If I'm in the closet, they can always knock and find me, but in the shower, they know not to bug me. So again, it's in these little areas of life. How can I show up for myself in a way that is truly nurturing and kind and caring, and showing myself that I'm important and I matter? So pick one area, spend several months just on that one area, because it'll force you to find the tiniest little thing that's a shortcut. And then you're actually you're going deep. You're going a mile deep, not just a mile wide. And that's really important. So. And
that'll show you, it's like peeling back the onion, right? It'll show you other areas that you can work in. It'll give you almost an endless list of stuff so.
Which is beautiful, because then my life is showing me if I'm dysregulated. Because when I open up the fridge, if I'm just picking a thing and eating it cold out of the container, which was one of my shortcuts that I originally found, it's like, no, now I put it on a plate or in a bowl. I heat it up. I sit down. I eat. I don't have my phone or shows. those were multiple shortcuts I just told you about.
Yeah.
But these are the things that then show me, well, one, if I'm throwing a tantrum, because I don't want to do the thing. I don't want to do the mature thing. Okay, I can parent myself. So I feel my feelings. I feel the tantrum. I recognize I'm throwing a tantrum. I talk to that part of me. What's going on? What are you feeling? Why? How, what needs do you feel are being not met? I listen, I validate, I hold space for myself. And then I lovingly support myself to say, and we're going to step up and do this because we feel good about ourselves when we do. And that's the right thing to do. And my 6-year-old at the time, she might've been 5. I asked her one time, hey, how do you be healthy? I was, she just kind of picked up stuff from me and I was curious what she'd say. She said this: you do the right thing to feel proud of yourself. And I was like, oh, out of the mouth of babes, right? I couldn't have said it better myself. And it just touched me so deeply, because that is this. We do the right thing when no one's looking. We do the right thing to feel good about ourselves, not because we should or because we'll be bad if we don't, but just because it's the right thing. And we want to feel good that we are a person who does the right thing when no one's looking. And that is the most regulating thing you can do.
Yeah. No, it's true. That's so cool. That's so cool. That's out of a 5-year-old, man. That's like, you're not going to get more honest than that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Oh man. Well, I hope you guys have been taking notes, because this has been awesome. And it always amazes me how much I learn every episode, no matter who's on the show, but especially with these. I'm always learning something new. So this is good stuff. So thank you, Michal. Appreciate you being here again. And we'll pick up again in a couple of weeks here. I think our next, the next show that we will have will be that we'll be together will be on February. No. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to look at the calendar at the same time. Anyway, this is the 21st. February 4th. That's right. February 4th will be the next time that Michal will be on the show with us. So set your timers, set your calendar, set whatever you need to set to tune in. And so thank you, Michal, for being here again. And we'll definitely see you here in a couple of weeks. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Love it. These are some of my favorite shows. I always learn something so good. Part of me is a little aggravated that I learn something every time, because you just want to know that you have something figured out, right? But you learn something new every time. So join us on the next show, which what did I say? This one's going to air on January 21st. So join us for the next show, which will be January 24th, which is a Friday, January 24th. And thank you for being here. If this is brand new to you and you're like, what is this show? And this is your first time, thank you for being here. I so appreciate it. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, anywhere, like, subscribe, share, all the things. If this is your new favorite episode, it's probably somebody else's too. So share it on your social media so that everybody else can see what we're doing too. And maybe it'll be their favorite show too. Join us next time. And thank you for being here. Have an amazing day, and we will see you on the next show.